the escape that became a death sentence. It began quietly inside the cold, controlled walls of the Randburg Magistrates Court in October 2012. A group of awaiting trial prisoners sat in holding cells, waiting to be transported back to Johannesburg prison. But behind the stillness, something was unfolding. A plan, careful, calculated, dangerous. They weren't just thinking about escape. They were preparing for it. A plan forged in secrecy. At some point during the day, one of the prisoners left escorted by a police officer and returned with something no one expected: commercial mining explosives. This was no longer a desperate idea. It was a mission. But before action came belief. Inside the holding cell, the group gathered. A substance later described in court as muthi, traditional medicine, was poured onto their hands, then into their mouths. They moved to a corner. They chanted. They spat. It was a ritual meant to shield them, to protect them from what they were about to unleash. They believed they were ready. The moving trap. Soon after, they were loaded onto a prison transport truck. Metal doors slammed shut. The vehicle rolled forward. Johannesburg traffic swallowed them. Inside, the plan moved into its final phase. 2 men crouched by the door, carefully placing the explosives. Others tracked the truck's movement using cell phones, relaying its location like a coordinated operation. Every second brought them closer to freedom. Or so they thought. The moment everything broke, then panic. A sudden rush toward the door, movement, confusion, and then an explosion. The blast ripped through the truck, tearing open metal and flesh alike. The force punched a hole through the vehicle. Smoke, screams, chaos. What was meant to be an escape turned into a nightmare. Men fell. Some didn't move again. 3 prisoners died. Many others were injured. Inside the truck, there was blood, shock, and silence where hope had once lived. Aftermath in motion. Yet the truck did not stop immediately. It kept moving, carrying the wounded, the dying, and the survivors toward the very prison they had tried to escape. In the chaos, 2 prisoners jumped from the moving vehicle. Behind them, police gave chase. Gunshots rang out in the streets. Eventually, the truck reached Johannesburg prison. No one escaped. Truth in the courtroom. The story might have ended there, but the real reckoning came later. In court, a fellow detainee, Loyiso Gladman Makungu, laid out the full sequence of events: the planning, the ritual, the explosion. Among the accused was James Musamasitsi. He claimed distance, said he had separated himself from the plan. But the court saw something else. Not distance, participation, judgment. In 2014, the verdict came. Motsitsi was convicted on multiple counts: murder, attempted murder, use of explosives, and escape from custody. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. Years later, he tried to appeal. But deadlines were missed, papers delayed, time lost. When the matter finally reached the Supreme Court of Appeal, the decision was firm. There would be no second chance. The court ruled his guilt was clear. His appeal had no prospect of success. The door closed for good. The lesson: what began as a plan for freedom became a chain of irreversible consequences. The ritual promised protection, but it could not shield them from reality. The explosives promised escape, but delivered death. The moment promised control, but ended in chaos. Desperation without wisdom leads to destruction. And sometimes, the path chosen to escape a prison becomes the very thing that builds a permanent one.